On this week's episode of What's Up Weekly, we take a trip to Cherryvale to ride some horses with the equestrians at IU.
And our first in a series of student profiles, What's Up Weekly starts now.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of What's Up Weekly. I'm Anna Black.
And I'm Cali Lichter. Our first story on this week's episode of WU is an inspiration for students everywhere. What's Up Weekly reporter Carly Rasmussen sat down with one media school student who is sharing her story.
Sometimes things don't go to plan. But for 21-year-old Marisol Sanchez, one could argue that her story has been written in the stars.
Actually, coming into IU, I came with a nursing major. I don't know why. Then I was unhappy with that major, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick something that I'm passionate about, which was journalism.
Her second semester of freshman year, Marisol changed her major and set down an entirely different path that she started on months ago.
Before the near total abortion ban goes into effect.
But why?
I feel the need to tell people's stories, especially the Latino community.
Despite being from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Marisol has close ties to her family roots in Guanajuato, Mexico. So much so that she wants to pursue her journalistic career in places where she can tell stories in Latin communities.
Growing up, I always wanted to be a journalist, but my dad did not want me to be a journalist.
He's worried that storytelling won't be her only job. She'll be trying to survive instead.
It's very dangerous in Latin America, especially in Mexico, where we're from. People get killed for doing what's right.
The risk is one she's willing to take, not only for what is next for her own career, but for what and who is following in her steps.
I think it's important to set that example because first, I'm first generation, and I want my siblings to go to college, or even if they do not want to go to college, I want them to find something that they love.
Going to college as a first gen was a time of perseverance for Marisol. She wants to pave the way for her and her 7 siblings that follow.
It's an adaptation, and I want to be able to help them adapt to anything that they need help in.
Being somebody they can rely on and relate to would give them something Marisol did not have.
At first, it was kind of a culture shock because it's predominantly white school. You have to find the right resources here because your family, they can help you as a support system, but they do not really know what to expect in college.
But she was able to find other groups and resources on campus that transformed her experience.
It's called the Groups program. It's for either low-income students or for minorities.
IU's Groups program was able to prepare Marisol and other students for what their 4 years in undergrad were going to look like.
They showed us around campus. They told us what to expect.
And as those 4 years come to a close for Marisol, she prepares herself for what is to come following graduation in May.
I hope to start in a small news network space just to get experience and then just work my way up.
Despite the dozens of journalism credits working in her favor, Marisol's biggest lesson from college is something else.
You need to just do what's going to make you happy.
For What's Up Weekly, I'm Carly Rasmussen.
Marisol's story is just getting started as she prepares for graduation in May. I'm so glad that we were able to hear about it here on WU. If you or anyone you know has a story that you want to be featured, DM us on Instagram at IUSTV News.
Last Saturday, the Bloomington Creative Glass Center hosted its 13th annual Great Glass Pumpkin Patch. Since last November, 47 volunteers have been glass blowing over 1,000 pumpkins about 8 times a month. Executive Director Abby Glitz says that her favorite part is
about the making. It is also spectacular on a beautiful fall day when you have all of these people out and they get to pick their favorite pumpkin. We had people start lining up at 7 a.m. this morning and we opened the doors at 10.
Bloomington Creative Glass Center is an all-access glass blowing studio with an apprentice program. People can learn how to blow glass for free in exchange for helping them make the pumpkins. If you're interested in helping next year, contact bcgc@gmail.com.
Even though Halloween isn't for another 2 weeks, Bloomington is already experiencing some haunts. I traveled to Rose Hill Cemetery to see what all the skella fuss was about. Take a look. Andrea Hadsell has always had an inclination for the supernatural and paranormal. When she joined the Monroe County History Center 5 years ago as their education manager, she had a vision. It started with an idea to partner with Parks and Recreation.
October 2018, we did our very first ghost tour where we dug through as many records as we could possibly get to find the historical burials that are not mentioned in a regular walking tour that you can get of the cemetery.
Which culminated in the Dearly Departed Cemetery tours. The tours, which took place this past weekend, highlight some of the more macabre deaths at Rose Hill Cemetery that people might not know about.
Just because they physically are gone doesn't mean that their story has to be gone.
Stories of the departed such as Charles B. Good. It's as if Romeo and Juliet went wrong, or I guess more wrong than it already did. At the time, Mrs. B. Good was not living with Charles, so he got the mentality of if I can't have her, no one can. So he got some carbolic acid and tried to poison them both. But the thing is, Mrs. B. Good did not drink it, but Charles did. But all of the stories highlighted on the tour are just to set the spooky spirit of the season.
Cemeteries aren't scary places.
Rose Hill hosts several graves, many dating back to a couple hundred years ago. Hadsell and her team have gone through to dig up the history of the deceased and figure out what actually happened.
So you have to dig into that research, use historical context to actually understand the terminology that they're using.
For example, many mothers had melancholia listed as their cause of death, which in the present day we would call postpartum depression. But Hadsell doesn't want patrons to be spooked away. Going through the cemetery can be peaceful and enlightening, especially when taking a look at the gravestones.
So there's, on this particular stone, it's a lot of symbolism. So they are actually beautiful to take a look at and try to peel away and dig a little deeper into that family history, what that story is.
Hadsell invites people to visit Rose Hill and the History Center to learn a little bit about their own history as they make their own history.
Guided tours and self-guided walkthroughs are offered through the Monroe County History Center. Rose Hill Cemetery is open to the public from dawn till dusk.
And now for the main event, we're stirring up some trouble at Cherryvale Farm with the IU Equestrian team, and we're not horsing around. Stick with us.
This coming weekend is the English Equestrian team's home horse show.
Before they come and talk to us about this year's event and more about the team, we took a trip out to Cherryvale Farms to ride some horses ourselves. Check it out.
Stirrups look raw. Watch your diagonal. Oh my God, it swings.
You want attention. I'll meet you. You have me good. All right, Harry, are we ready to ride? Alrighty. Okay. Harry Styles, look at this.
Okay, there we go.
Joining us now in studio is Madison Smith and Jocelyn Aguilar of Equestrians at IU. First off, thank you all so much for letting us come out to your barn last week. We had so much fun and loved getting to see the horses, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you guys for having us.
Of course.
So how long have you both been riding horses?
So I started when I was 3 years old, all the way through middle school. I didn't compete like competitively, but then once I got to high school, I kind of stopped, and then when I got here, I joined the team.
I started riding when I was 6, and I got my own horse my last year of middle school and started competing at the rateds with a horse that I then bought in high school.
Awesome.
Clearly.
So a lot of people are familiar with the day-to-day of, say, someone on the basketball team, but what does that day-to-day look like for someone on the equestrian team?
Yeah, so it really depends on the level of involvement. There's some people on the team who have their own horses and some who use team horses. So on a typical practice day, the drive out to the barn is about an hour. So we have carpools of people from the team who go out. They get there 30 to 45 minutes before practice starts because you have to groom and get your horse ready. It's called tacking up. So they will be there for about 45 minutes doing that. And then practice lasts for about an hour. So it depends on what level you're at. We take anyone from beginners who have literally never sat on a horse before to people who have been horse showing since they were in elementary school. So those people will either do a flat lesson or they'll be able to jump the horses around depending on what their lesson is decided to be that day by our coach. And then you spend about 45 minutes to an hour cooling your horse down, grooming again, and cleaning up.
Wow.
So I know you kind of just like gave the breakdown of, I guess, like individual events time-wise, but like how many weeks on average do you guys spend with the equestrian team?
We have 9 weeks of practice per semester.
And again, you said that anyone can join. Like, you don't have to have any kind of prior experience. You can just get up and try it, right?
Yeah, there's some people on the team that have never even seen a horse before. They come from like big cities, so yeah, we take anyone.
And that's really the beauty of it too. Obviously, it's a little bit of a money sport.
Yeah.
But we compete in an organization called the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association, which is probably the most egalitarian part of the sport, which is what makes it really cool. We are not allowed to ride our own horses in competition. We do a random draw. So you ride a horse that you've never ridden before in competition. It's really tough, but it makes it a lot more equal of a sport.
Yeah.
So it's really cool because we get a lot of people on the team who have wanted to be involved with horses their whole life and either, like Jocelyn said, have not been able to access that because of where they live or because of financial concerns. So it's really cool because we get a lot of people who have always had that passion and are finally able to express it.
That's awesome.
So I know you guys have a competition coming up this weekend. So are you guys both competing?
Yes.
Yeah, we both are, both days, yep.
How are you guys feeling?
I'm a little nervous. I haven't showed in, like, I only do like the team shows, but I haven't really showed outside of that. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited.
I'm really excited. We're using my personal horse as a draw horse, so I get to bring him. And then I'm really, really close to moving up into the next division, so hopefully I will be able to point up in this show.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So can you tell me, like, what goes on in your head when you're sitting up there on that horse competing?
So, yeah. Since it's a random horse, it's just trying to get a feel of the horse and just trying to figure out what, like, kind of horse it is. Is it a horse that needs more leg? If it's a speedy horse, just trying to figure out what to do next, yeah.
It's a lot of it that comes down to how well you've practiced and how much work you've really put into it at home. Because you, especially in a jumping class, you only get about 45 to 90 seconds to be in the ring and compete. And in that 45 to 90 seconds, there's not a lot of like actually thinking about yourself that's going on. A lot of it is, where am I going? Where is my next obstacle? And like Jocelyn said, trying to get a feel for that horse because every horse is different. Every horse rides a little bit differently. There's a really common expression in horse sport that you have to ride the horse you're on, not the horse you were on yesterday. And we talk about that a lot with like genuinely like one horse because they change day to day. But when you're riding different horses, a lot of it is just spending that time trying to do the best that you can with the practice you've put in riding different horses in practice. So it's really, really fun. It definitely makes you a much better rider.
I'm sure.
And for anyone interested in joining, where can they go to learn more or I guess reach out to you guys to join the team?
So we have our Instagram, which is Hoosier Huntsy, and they can contact us through there. And then we also have our Facebook page as well, which is Equestrians at IU.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and again letting us come to your space and ride some horses.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Much fun. Well, still ahead on What's Up Weekly, we get you caught up on this week's trending topics.
The loss of a pop icon at the age of 72 and the fallout continues for Kanye West after his controversial post on Twitter. welcome back. The Academy Museum of Motion Pictures opened last year. Over the weekend, celebrities attended the museum's second annual gala.
The gala honored several stars, including actress Julia Roberts, director Steve McQueen, and producer Mikey Lee. The Rolex-sponsored event raised around $10 million for the arts. The night was full of fashion and, well, unlikely friendships. Some Instagram photos had social media screaming. Justin Bieber's wife, Hailey Bieber, and ex Selena Gomez were publicly captured together. Hailey and Justin married back in 2018, just a few months after he and Gomez called it quits. There have always been rumors and fan beef surrounding their marriage, but I guess they squashed all these rumors and relationship conspiracies with this now viral pic.
And I know Hailey Bieber addressed some of the rumors on the Call Her Daddy podcast, but I was definitely shocked to see them actually pictured together.
Oh, me too. Shocked. And in some sad news, we lost another pop culture icon over the weekend.
On Friday, Scottish actor and comedian Robbie Coltrane died. Coltrane was best known in the States as the lovable giant Hagrid in the Harry Potter franchise. He was known as Eddie Fitzgerald in the 90s British drama series Cracker. A spokesperson for Coltrane said he was unwell for some time. Harry Potter himself said, "I feel incredibly lucky that I got to meet and work with him and very sad that he's passed. He was an incredible actor and a lovely man."
Belinda Wright, Coltrane's longtime agent, said that Coltrane had been receiving a stream of fan letters every week for over 2 decades. That's crazy.
Yeah. And Kanye West has been at the center of controversy lately, and now it's costing him business.
Investment bank JP Morgan has cut ties with controversial rapper Kanye West. This comes after conservative influencer Candace Owens tweeted about it. Chase, which is JP Morgan's retail bank, has yet to comment. However, statements from the letter have been confirmed by Billboard. The letter allegedly dates back to the end of September, this coming before his latest string of anti-Semitic comments.
You know, I'll be very interested to see what other businesses sever ties with the rapper.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's what's up this week. Tune in next week for more local and entertainment news.
Be sure to follow us on social media. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV News.
For What's Up Weekly, I'm Anna Black.
And I'm Cali Lichter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.